Hey everybody, it's Lost in Plot, and today we're doing Uncharted.
The film adaptation of the very popular Sony franchise game that came out way back when, in the early aughts. Maybe it's funny that suddenly now we're getting a film adaptation of Uncharted, we're getting a show adaptation of Halo. It was always like Uncharted was Sony's big flagship, and Halo was Microsoft, and these were the two that were always battling.
That's right, and Uncharted was the video game evolution of Tomb Raider, which was the precursor that came before it. And then Naughty Dog and Sony got themselves a hit on their hands with a third-person kind of explorer, puzzle-solving shooter game that featured very memorable characters, interesting stories with a historical bent.
And it's the perfect kind of game and story to adapt into a film. This is a treasure hunter adventure film, and who doesn't love those? It's like perfect for a franchise, right? So tell me, did they get it perfect? Did they get the story of Nathan Drake, treasure hunter, right when they adapted him to the big screen?
No, they didn't. They didn't get it even close to being
What
right.
a shock.
Everybody does
I'm
love
surprised.
a big treasure hunting adventure, except when your characters are flat as cardboard and it's boring. And you don't have any memorable set pieces that don't look like CGI cartoons and any interesting character development whatsoever. That's kind of a bummer, even for a treasure hunting movie.
I wouldn't like that as well, and that's why I didn't go see it. Only you did, so I'll ask you some questions, but I think I already know the answers to it.
Well, we'll get into it.
Sure. So give us the story. This is a kind of a classic treasure hunter MacGuffin, I'm guessing.
Yeah, kind of. We'll start with Nathan Drake, who is portrayed as a 20-something bartender who's swindling the Silver Spoon co-eds who happen to come and order drinks from him.
He's swindling them? What do you mean he's swindling
Well,
them?
he's stealing their jewelry and their precious belongings.
He's a thief?
Yes.
Oh.
So that's what they went with. But he's a good thief because he only steals from, the privileged
Really
waspy
rich white kids.
people. Yeah. So one night, a creepy old man, sort of a creepy middle-aged man who's acting like he's much older than he is, comes in and recruits him to help him find the sought-after treasure.
Now, where is this happen? Where does he get recruited? Is this in the U.S. or is this...
Yeah, he's in the U.S. I think he's on the East Coast.
Because I know in the game franchise, there have been 4 Uncharted games. Okay, I've played all of them, including the additional one, the Lost Legacy or whatever the spin-off was. And in the Uncharted games, Nathan Drake is an orphan, and his mentor is a guy named Sully, who meets him in some remote, different country. He's an orphan. He's kind of running around pickpocketing people to survive. So he's not really a bartender. I see why they made that choice.
Yeah. So, anyways, he picks him up in this bar and says, "All right, we're going to go hunt for this treasure that is historical in nature. We're going to find this amazing treasure the Magellan sailed around the world with and stored somewhere that nobody's ever found. Mm-hmm. And you're going to help me." And you talked about Nathan Drake as an orphan. One of the video games explores his backstory when he is orphaned, his relationship with his brother at the orphanage, and how the two get separated.
That was Uncharted 4.
And you get that as one of your opening flashback scenes. You get his brother Sam, and the fact that Sam goes his own way, and the two of them stay loosely in touch with one another, but that's really Nathan Drake's familial hook. That's the relationship he's most interested in. It just really doesn't go anywhere in this film. So, when Sam happens to be working with Sully, played by Mark Wahlberg, they figure something happens to Sam, we'll swap out Sam for Drake, and then Nathan Drake goes and helps Sully try to chase down the treasure.
And really the one cardinal sin that you can make in a big adventure film like this, with exotic locations and destinations, is CGI. Your set pieces should look glorious as they are. You shouldn't have to resort to computer-generated images to spice things up. If you go back to the great treasure hunting adventure films, the classic archetypes, the Indiana Jones films, what was great about them was that everything was real. Nothing was CGI, nothing was special effects. You saw a lot of real stuff and incredible stunt work. And then when they tried to make a new Indiana Jones, they flipped it over to CGI, and it was predictably terrible. And it sounds like that's what we're getting here with Uncharted.
Yeah, the set pieces are very imaginative. I mean, one of the final set pieces has to do with 2 giant aged pirate ships hanging from helicopters battling as they're swinging.
Because I'm sure they wouldn't tear apart from the cranes and all.
Well, and in theory, you think about that and like, man, that'd be pretty neat. And then you see it rendered in CGI. It just feels like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Who thought it would be neat? The 5th graders? The 3rd graders? They might like
it's
flag
invented.
pirate ships.
I don't think you've seen it before. But there's that. They also have a memorable set piece which is based right out of the video games, where all these cargo crates are dangling out the back of an airplane, and they're trying to kind of do battle across them and get back into the plane. But even that one is so cartoonish and ridiculous that there's no sense of danger. There's no sense of stakes. You know, people are just leaping wherever they need to go on a whim. It's almost like they have superpowers. It didn't render with any type of realism at all, to the point where you'd feel suspense.
Okay, so if you're a fan of the video game franchise and you played through all of those, is this going to be loyal? Are you going to get the same kind of story as in the games?
You're going to get something similar, but you're not going to like it because it's miscast. It's miscast.
It's terribly
like
miscast.
Nathan Drake is being played by a 12-year-old boy. That's basically what it is. Tom Holland is so boyish and lacks total masculinity at all that he just appears non-threatening and generally not interesting. And he's also falling into this niche where Tom Holland just plays himself. It's the same. It's basically Peter Parker as Nathan Drake, or Tom Holland's version of it.
Yep.
And then Mark Wahlberg is so woefully miscast as Sully,
horribly miscast,
that it's a joke. Because Mark Wahlberg is very similar. Mark Wahlberg, in every movie he plays Mark Wahlberg. So he's doing that as Sully. But it's odd because you almost look at him and just like, hey, Mark, you're not that old. Shouldn't you kind of be the lead actor in this one? And you're playing second fiddle? It doesn't work. Mark Wahlberg's a movie star. Tom Holland is not really a movie star. And the dynamic and the casting is pitiful. It's not good. And the film lacks any type of a memorable antagonist. You had one. Antonio Banderas is playing the Moncada family representative who's out to get the treasure, and they're a convincing enemy foil with all their resources and the people they can employ, their private military contractors. It makes a lot of sense. But then they have his lieutenant, strong female character, do away with him.
Strong female character.
So that the third act, this person is the one in charge and the chief antagonist.
Strong female character.
So it's just pitiful. They did a bad job.
Yeah, and Sully is like the old salty mentor, who's like the cigar-chomping, wizened guy who's always kind of funding Nathan Drake's adventures. So horribly miscast, a lot of crap CGI special effects. What's our final verdict for Uncharted?
Uncharted's dead. It's a 4 out of 10. This just isn't memorable. It's flat, it's safe, it's boring. It ain't going to get the job done. It's Uncharted in name only, but it has none of the character and flair of the video game.
And you're probably likely to get a better story by playing any of those games. Now they've got a release where you can play all 3 games on one and then play Uncharted 4, and I think they're even coming to PC. So,
and honestly, if you wanted to see what this movie could have been also, there's a 15-minute YouTube short starring Nathan Fillion and Steven Weber of Uncharted. And what that one misses in all the expensive locations and adventuring and everything, it gets right in character and tone. So you might want to see an example of what they could have done.
But what if someone doesn't know anything about Uncharted? They're not familiar with the game series at all. Would they be
You're just
going to
be bored by this because there's nothing memorable about it. You're just going to be bored because these guys, like generic adventurer hero person. Nothing unique, nothing interesting about either one of them, and nothing really compelling to bring you back to see more.
There you go. Uncharted is dead.
Guys, this movie won the box office weekend. There's lots of people out there seeing it. If you have, please leave your thoughts and feedback down below. Check us out on Twitter, like and subscribe, and we'll see you all on the next one.